Hi. So, before I start this video, I have a few things I want to say. I actually wasn't planning on making this video first. I was planning on making a video discussing about when I was sick again this year. I got sick February till April, and that's important to know in the context of this video because I was away from school at that time. This was my senior year. And in this video, I'll be talking about how my school treated me when I was sick, my junior year and my senior year, and just overall, that whole experience with that. Another thing I want to say before this video starts is that yes, this school was not the best to me when I was sick, and they treated me really badly along with my family. But not all the teachers there were horrible. I want to give a special shout out to, I won't say their names, but my French teacher and my English teacher my junior year, along with my forensics teacher my senior year. And I want to give a special shout out to my forensics teacher. He was really a big help to me. He made going to school a lot easier my senior year. I could talk to him about what I was going through, and it was just a really nice new perspective because my friends and my family were a really good support system, but it was just really nice to have someone who looked at things a little bit differently and could just be like, yeah, that really sucks, but not in like a there's nothing you can do about it, but in a like look at it this way kind of thing. And I think that was really important, and it was just really nice to have someone like listen to you, because I was, especially in that setting, because of like the whole school, and I just felt very much alone in my situation, and it was just really nice to have a teacher that genuinely cared about my health and my well-being and didn't view me as a student that needed to get work done, but viewed me as a person that has gone through a lot and just needs someone to talk to and just needs someone to understand and like try to understand that this wasn't an easy thing to go through. So I just really want to thank those teachers if they're watching. Thank you so much for like making my experience a little bit better. You were honestly like a really big help to me, and I will forever like hold you in my heart for that. It really gave me like peace to go to school and like go to those specific classes and just like get away from everyone else basically. So now going into the video, I got sick my junior year during December, and I was gone for 3 months. The reason I was gone for 3 months is, if you want to know more about my illness and stuff, that I have different videos for that, but basically I was really sick December and January, and in January I had surgery, and it was really, really painful. I couldn't walk for a really long time because it was all in my stomach area, and that's like one of the worst places to go because you use your core to move around, and you couldn't do that. But so I was like bed rest for a whole month of February, and then I came back in March. So I missed 3 months of school, along with like my exams. So during December, you have a week of exams, and I missed all those. So that will be talked about later on, but I went to Catholic school, by the way. Just throwing that out there because that's important for this video. I came back and I was bombarded with so much work. I had to basically make up every single piece of homework that I missed. Now, there are some people that were like, oh, that's like, oh, you had to make up all that work. You shouldn't be complaining, blah, 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 blah. First of all, screw all those people, because I guarantee if they were in my situation, they would basically have the same reaction I did. It was not easy, especially coming back from a really traumatic thing like that, like surgery, and just finding out you have an illness to begin with. Like, those are really hard stuff to hear and to deal with. And to come back to school and have to deal with schoolwork, that's just like totally different. And to be told you have to make up every single piece of work is absolutely ridiculous. Now, I had a really good counselor my junior year. He was trying to like get teachers to send stuff and everything. She did like try and make them understand, like, hey, this is ridiculous. Like, she doesn't need to do all this work. And I really didn't, because in the hospital, because I was a pediatric patient, I was 16 at the time, there was a school coordinator, and she told me that when you are like gone, you have to do the work, and of course, like, you have to make up work, but you don't have to make up every single piece of work. They could substitute it for like a big project or a paper. They could substitute the work, but my school didn't do that. Along with that, the school coordinator told me that she has never worked with the school as difficult and as like horrible as my school, my Catholic school. And I think that's really important to note, because she has been working as a school coordinator with a bunch of different schools for a bunch of different kids, and for her to literally tell me she has never worked with a school as horrible as this one, that's saying something. Now, back to my junior year, yeah, I had to make up every piece of homework, along with every test, every quiz, and stay on top of current work that was going on when I was back. I had no help. I had to do everything by myself. I lost it. I was so stressed out, and stress wasn't good for me in that situation. Anyways, with my illness, I had to do a whole year's worth of work, which no one else had to do, so it wasn't fair. And it wasn't like I was asking for none of the work. I was asking for a reasonable amount of work that made sense to the situation that I was in. Is that really so hard? Apparently so. Anyways, I had to do that. Now, my French teacher and my English teacher literally was like, you're not making up any of the work, you're just gonna do what we're doing now, which was reading the book Frankenstein. And tip for that, if you're reading a book, so I worked on it while I was recovering at home, but so she would send the questions for me to answer, and that would be like worksheet points. So I had these questions, and I can read, but like I don't really like reading. So a good thing to do is, if you go on YouTube and you type in like whatever book, like Frankenstein audio book, and just like listen to it while you're trying to answer the questions, that's really helpful, because you're also like, you're still technically like reading it, like you're still getting the same information if you were to just read it, but it was just easy. So that's a tip. I don't know, but so she did that for me, which is really, like, I am so thankful for that. Like, she was so understanding of my situation, and that, like, I shouldn't have to make up all the work that I missed, because that makes no sense. And she was, like, the only one that did that for me, and that was, like, really great. So thank you to her. Now, my French teacher was also really great, because she literally gave me, like, one worksheet to do for, like, each section that we were working on, which made sense, instead of doing, like, all the worksheets and stuff like that. And so shout out to those two teachers, because they were such a great help. Every other teacher sucked. Like, my math teacher, my history teacher, I don't even know what other teachers I had, but they all sucked. They didn't truly understand or care to understand what I was going through. They were really ignorant, and that's just what it was. As I was going through each assignment and each test and quiz or whatever, and checking them off, and every time I think I would be done with, like, math, for example, they would tell me, oh, you forgot this assignment. Oh, you didn't do this one. Well, why wasn't it on the worksheet? Why are you telling me this now? Why are you telling me that I had this, this, and this to do when it wasn't already on my sheet? Why are you adding extra stuff? It was really frustrating, because I had to squeeze in all the tests and quizzes along with the tests and quizzes that were already going on during the time that I was back, like, along with the rest of my class. So let's say, like, I had a history quiz that was, like, with the class, but I had a separate history quiz that was from the past, and you're telling me that I have to somehow squeeze that in along with what was going on currently. Like, that was really hard to do, because it's trying to think of, like, trying to teach yourself old stuff while staying on top of the new stuff, and squeeze in that test along with, like, current tests that are going on. And it was a real struggle for me, especially since I'm not, like, the best at school. I was never a straight A student. And this school, like, makes you feel bad about that. Like, they really do make you feel like you're really dumb if you don't have, like, straight A's. And that really sucked. They really prioritize your grades more than you as a person. And it was really hard. It was hard to talk about it to my friends, because they would do their best to, like, understand, but again, like, it is hard to understand. Like, no one's gonna fully understand what you're going through. Like, that's just how it is. But they were good sports for, like, trying to keep me sane, because I would actually, like, cry in the hallway and cry. Like, we had, like, study rooms, and I would cry in there doing the work, because I didn't think I could do it all, because there was so much pressure to get everything done and pass. And, like, I was so scared, because it was just a lot to deal with. So as I was nearing the end of junior year and, like, finishing up the unbelievable amount of work that I had to do, as I mentioned before, I missed my exams from December, my winter finals. They were trying to make me do double the finals. So basically, you have finals again before your summer break, and they were trying to make me do my winter finals and my summer finals at the same time during the same week. And I lost it. I broke down. I went home crying to my mom, and I was like, Mom, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. I'm gonna fail. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I was literally killing myself over this work, over trying to pass and succeed as a student, because that was like what was put on me. I was like really pressured to do that, and it really, really messed me up. Luckily, the counselor at the time was like, no, we're not going to make you do that. That's really unfair. What we're going to do is you're going to take your summer finals, and then during summer you're going to come back and take the remainder finals that you missed in December, because it's not fair for you to take double the finals. Like, that's ridiculous. So luckily I was able to take the remaining finals like during the summer, and I finished. I passed junior year by some miracle, but with everything that I went through, it really, really messed me up. Going to senior year was already like scary for me, because I already knew I was gonna miss some school. I had to miss the first week of school because I had surgery. I had a lot of complications during this time. So I had to have a revision surgery at school, or like the first week of school, and then I came back the next week, which was like really crazy, and my friends were all like, "What are you doing here? You just had surgery." But yeah, they helped me out. And then I knew in October, around that time, I would have my last surgery. And I was literally like panicking, because I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna literally repeat what happened to me last year. I'm gonna have so many breakdowns. I'm gonna have to do so much work. They're not gonna understand like they did last year. Like, plus the counselor that I had was gone. We had new counselors, and the counselor that I had my senior year was absolutely garbage, disappointing, did not help me at all, literally didn't know what she was doing at all, and it was really frustrating. So during the short amount of time, I think, so I had my like revision surgery in August, and then October was like my last surgery, and during that time period, like in between, I was having a lot of complications. I was out of school for a long time because I was really, really sick and like throwing up, and I talked about this in a different video, but basically I had like a bag and it was getting blocked all the time, and I was in a lot of pain and I couldn't do anything. So I was really struggling. All my teachers sucked. Except for like my forensics teacher, but all my teachers sucked. My literature teacher would like, we have school iPads, and so we had like these online assignments to do, and obviously I wasn't doing good at them, but I was trying to get them done because my literature teacher was like on my back about it, and it was like, I'm literally sick. Like, I am not well. I am not. She cared about like getting it done, so that's what I was trying to do. I just wanted to get them done, but I wasn't like putting in full effort of like what I was supposed to do, because to me it seemed like she just wanted them done on time. So she literally emailed my mom and was like, yeah, Sienna's not doing good on these assignments or whatever, and it's like, my mom was like, yeah, no duh, she's sick. Like, she's not well. A thing that my friend told me was that when I was sick, like, I would talk to my friends about it, obviously, but when I was sick, like, she was on my back about everything, about getting, like, all the assignments done, but she was sick for a couple days, and she was like, sorry guys, like, I couldn't grade these on time. I was so sick. I was, like, whatever. And I was like, okay, you're right. Like, I just was like throwing my actual guts out, throwing up my actual guts, and you had the flu and you couldn't do anything. So why are you expecting me to do work? Like, it made no sense, but whatever. So I had to deal with that. Now, when I was in the hospital again, February till April, and they were sending me work to do. First of all, it was impossible to get actual work to be sent because they didn't answer their emails or phones or whatever. Like, they did not do their job. The counselor at school didn't do her job at all, didn't reply to emails. They were late, didn't respond. If she did send an email back, like, I remember we were all in the hospital room, my mom, the school coordinator, there's a teen life specialist, and art therapy. Like, because I've been in the hospital so long, I've like have like a bond with a lot of the staff there, like the nurses and everything. It took like 5 people to try and understand what this school counselor was trying to write. Like, her wording of certain things in the email made absolutely no sense. We literally had to all read it, and we were still very confused to what she was saying. So communication was non-existent. So that's what I had to deal with. When they did send work, the work that they sent made no sense. I had to basically do work as if I was in the classroom learning it, which I wasn't, because I was in the freaking hospital. Like, how are you going to expect me to know what to do in a certain section that I'm not there for? Like, you didn't even send notes to try and help me understand what was going on. Made no sense at all. So by the time that they actually like tried to get their stuff together, actually before that, it was spring break. So it was spring break, and there was like no school for a week. Before spring break happened, we emailed them saying, can we have the work that needs to be done, because I'll have more time to catch up, and then hopefully by the time that the kids come back from spring break, I'll be like somewhat caught up with the rest of the class. They sent that email. We didn't get an email back with the work. Oh, so no. So what happened was, they were like, oh yeah, sure, and they made this whole list of a plan, and we were like, okay, sounds great. They didn't send the actual work till after spring break on a Tuesday. So I basically missed that whole free week of work that could have been like done, because they didn't send in the work that I needed to do. That is their logic. And it was unbelievable. And I remember I was panicking, and I was like even before that, I literally had like PTSD. I would cry because I had actual panic attacks and horrible memories from my junior year of like struggling to get work done for these people, and it was just like, it was really, really bad. So it was like week 6 before they actually like came up with the plan. My dad and the school coordinator from the hospital went to my actual school, and they went to the office, and my principal, my government teacher, my literature teacher, and my school counselor walk right past my dad. And I know they know my dad. Like, they've seen him around, they know who he is, yet they walk right past him. Not a single hello, how are you, welcome, whatever. No human decency, basically. They walk right past him, have their own meeting for like 15 minutes. The secretary lady asked my dad, oh, what are you guys here for? And my dad goes, that meeting. Then, after some time, invite my dad and the school coordinator lady in. And so, before this meeting, the school coordinator from the hospital asked me, is it okay if I share your story? If I share the surgeries that you have, the fact that you had a bag, what you're going through now, that you have GI issues. And I said yes, because they honestly never needed to know. They don't need to know what I went through. They should have human decency to realize, hey, this is a person in a hospital. This isn't a joke. Like, I've been here for 6 weeks now, but yet you don't seem to understand that I was sick. Like, this isn't a vacation. I'm not just sitting around. I am in pain. I am underweight. I am losing blood. I am on a lot of medication. Like, I'm not just like, yes, like, you're in the hospital. You're sitting and watching movies to, yeah, like, you are doing that because there's nothing else to do. You're in a serious situation. The last thing you want to do is think about it. So my mom would be like, let's watch TV, let's watch a movie, because it helps get your mind off things. So yes, technically I am sitting around, but it's not a fun, relaxing sitting around. It's, let's not get depressed in this situation. That's literally what it is. And for you to think I'm just like on vacation, sitting around, drinking like a Coke in my hand, like, no. I couldn't eat for this time either. So, like, there's a lot of things happening. But, whatever. I was like, fine, tell them, because they are so ignorant and so disrespectful, whatever, that if this is what they need to, like, finally understand that this is a serious situation, fine, tell them. So she went above and beyond. She brought, like, pictures and, like, diagrams of, like, each surgery and, like, everything like that to show them. So they go in for the meeting. First of all, my dad tells them, I am disappointed and I am disgusted with all of you because you never once asked me how my daughter was doing. Now, like I mentioned before, this is a Catholic school, so for you to, like, not even ask how I'm doing, that's really bad. Like, that's honestly horrible on their part. But whatever. So that happened, and they were all like, what? Or whatever. So then the school coordinator starts to explain my situation. She starts off by saying something like, it's easy for a person to understand that cancer is a really serious thing, and everyone can, like, somewhat understand that it's not, like, it's really bad. But for someone who has, like, GI issues, you don't really necessarily know what that really means because no one really talks about it. So as she tries to explain my situation, my principal goes, we're not here for that. We're here to talk about Sienna's work. Excuse me? You don't care about my health and well-being? You don't care what I went through? Maybe that would help you understand why I can't do the work that you're sending me. Maybe, like, that would actually help if you had some, like, context. But no, you didn't care to know about me. Whatever, fine. So that happened. Luckily my government teacher somewhat helped, and actually he did help. I just didn't, like, we weren't, I feel like, on the best of pages. I felt like he didn't really like me that much, for whatever reason, maybe because I wasn't a popular kid, and honestly, that was, like, the school system there. If you're a popular kid, you're, like, automatically here. Teachers love you, student pet, whatever. If you're not in that group, you're, like, not looked at as that. You were honestly treated like garbage. It's very much, what's the word, like, popular based and, like, that kind of thing, which really sucks. At least that's how I viewed it. If you went to my school and you don't feel like that's what happened, good for you, but that's how I felt I was treated. Anyways, he kind of adjusted his stuff. Now my lit teacher is actually insane. she was like, oh, she has a paper to write. She has this short story to read and blah, 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 blah. She did not want to, like, make the situation easier for her, because really, at the end of the day, like, she's the one grading it, and she's the one doing all this stuff, like, to herself. Like, she is putting more work on herself. But, okay. So, yes, that's what I had to deal with. When I came back, it was towards, the end of the year, and I was a senior, so we graduate May 16th, or we graduated May 16th, and I was planning to graduate on time. That was my goal, because it really did suck to sit through, to not graduate with your classmates. And it's not like I failed, and it's not like I did it to myself, but the fact that, like, my school didn't help me reach that goal, they literally told me when I came back, I wasn't able to go to school, but I was doing the work from home, but when I went for, like, meetings and stuff, they literally told me, our first goal is to get you to graduate. Our second goal is to get you to graduate on time. Okay, here's the thing, though. Me and my family and I, we told you I want to graduate on time. I worked my ass off to get everything done. I stayed up all night, reminding you that, like, I literally just got out of the hospital, and I got out of the hospital, like, April 26th, and we had to graduate May 16th, but I worked my ass off to try and beat the deadline. I turned in my papers, I stayed up all night to write papers, to do the work, to do the assignments. I really, like, killed myself over it, and I was, like, crying because I really wanted to graduate on time, because I felt in my heart I could do it. Sadly, my school didn't care. They delayed it as much as possible. They went into the summer for me, which isn't fair, because I really wanted to graduate with my school. It really sucked to sit there during graduation and no, like, sorry, I didn't want to cry during this, but it really sucked to sit there during graduation and be like, act like I was graduating on time with my classmates, and it really sucked hearing, like, everyone telling me, like, oh, congratulations, you graduated, and, like, all that, but, like, in my heart, I didn't, like, and during graduation, it was a complete joke, because everyone was, like, saying how much of a great school it was and whatever, and I was just sitting there like, this was actually hell for me, and I almost killed myself over it. I almost took my own life because of the school, but no one knew that, obviously, but I really struggled, and it really sucked that they didn't care to get me to my goal. They wanted to get to their goal of, like, we'll just take our sweet time to whatever, like, they didn't give me all the work that needed to be done in that 2-week time. They just delayed it, and they made it more work for themselves. Like, for my lit teacher, she was expecting me to get an A on a paper. Like, lady, I am just trying to do the bare minimum to pass. And when she handed my paper back to me, she was like, you gotta be, don't care. I literally do not give a F about, like, getting an A on this paper. It is literally the last weeks of school. I was putting in as much effort as I could just to pass. Like, I wanted, like, a D. Like, I did not care if I got an A, whatever. I wanted to pass. That was my goal. No, my parents didn't care if I got an A or not. They knew my situation. Why was it that you, my teacher that I'm never gonna see again, probably, wanted me to get an A? when you knew my situation, like, it made no sense. Like, what do you want, a cookie for trying to get me to succeed in your class? Like, no, screw you. Like, that literally killed me. I had so many breakdowns because of the school. Like, it really ruined me. And just, like, it was so embarrassing. Even though I knew it wasn't my fault that I didn't graduate on time, it was really hard to just sit through graduation like that. My brother even told me, like, you look so, like, done. And I was like, I was during graduation. I didn't want to celebrate because I felt like I had nothing to celebrate for. And I'm sorry I'm getting so emotional, but it really, really screwed me up. Like, it really hurt. And it was, like, actual hell. Like, and that was a Catholic school. But that Catholic school was, like, sent from the devil himself. Because, honestly, like, they need to fix their what they're doing there. The funny thing is, the only time they will care about you is when you have money to donate to the school. Then they'll send you emails, and then they'll keep in contact with you just to get that sweet cash money. But whatever. I really hope that this school fixes their whole system. I hope that they realize what they're doing is wrong. I absolutely hate this school and most, if not all, the people in it, except for the people that I mentioned, along with the priest. He was really good to me too. There were, like I said, there were decent people there that did help me, but I only named those three because those were, like, the most significant to me. But yes, this school, like, severely messed me up. I will forever be, like, traumatized by it. If I hear that another student is sick at that school, like, God forbid that ever happens because they don't know how to deal with it, but, like, knowing what I went through with them, I would hate for anybody else to go through that. And the thing is, like, in the hospital, there was another patient that was a senior as well, and he only had to do, and he was in the hospital the same amount of time, if not longer, than I was, and I remember the school coordinator told me, because I'm still in contact with them and everything, that there was he was a senior as well, and he only had to do, like, 2 worksheets or something, and they took, like, all his credits, and he was able to graduate on time. But not me, not this school. They made me do everything that I missed. They made it, like, 10 times harder for me and themselves because they had to grade the papers. They had to do it. Like, I don't understand. But, so for anyone saying, like, oh, that's just, like, the school system, it's not. It literally is not. Like, they could have made exceptions and done it a different way. They just chose not to because they're actual idiots. One more story. One day I was getting blood work done over the summer, and this lady asked me where I went to school, and I said the school that I went to, and she asked me what I thought of it, and I said, oh, I really didn't like it because they didn't treat me well at all when I was sick. She said, I don't blame you. I had kids that went there. She told me that her daughter passed away a few years ago, and she asked, it wasn't the priest now, I don't know who it was then, but they asked the priest to say a mass and a prayer for her, and they said no, and they never gave a reason to why they said no. She told me that her daughter was a really good student, was a straight A student, was really involved with the school, but regardless, whether she was or wasn't, they should have still done the service for her. Like, there was no reason to deny her that. That's her daughter, and that was the school that she went to, and I think that was, like, really heartbreaking and to hear. And my problem with the school is that are a Catholic community and you're supposed to live your life through Jesus Christ, yet you do the complete opposite, do you really think Jesus would deny someone something like that or treat people the way that they are treating people at that school? I don't think so. I think it's really hypocritical and disgusting how they were acting at that school. I don't think it's fair to say that you are preaching in the name of Jesus and like all this stuff if you're not even going to follow it yourself. And I think it's just really disgusting. I'm not saying all Catholic schools are like this, but from my experience, I have never heard anything great about them. That's just me. So yeah. I will be making a video about like my time that I was sick again this year. I'm not sure when that will be out, but yeah. I normally don't ask for this, but I think it's important that this video gets shared around. So if you could please send this to people, or like post it somewhere, tell a friend about it, because this is just like my experience with the school, with this Catholic school. But I think it's important because that this doesn't continue to happen. I think it needs to be fixed. It's definitely not a fair situation to anybody, regardless. It just needs to be better. I really hope people share this video because, not to get views or whatever, but just to show the significance of like how it affects somebody and like how it actually traumatizes people, and just to bring awareness to the situation. I'm sorry I got emotional and everything like that, but it was really a hard time for me, and I know like some people will say I was overreacting and whatever, and you can say whatever, but this was my experience. This is what I went through. It's not, maybe you, if you went through something like this, or you would have handled it differently, and you know, that's great. Everyone handles stuff in a different way, so, but there's no like right or wrong way to handle it. It just is what it is. So this is just what I went through. If you went to my school or in my grade or whatever and you knew I was sick, just know like this is what I had to go through with this school. So I really, really hate this school. I will hopefully be making more lighthearted videos soon. Sorry for all like the serious videos. But this is just my life, and that's what I'm dealing with. So yeah. Have a good one. Bye.